Welcome back to another edition of the Gadget Lab podcast. I am Michael Calori.
And I'm John Phillips.
And we have a couple devices to show you this week. First up, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus phone. This is the new Google phone.
That's right. It is running Ice Cream Sandwich. That's Android 4.0. It sort of takes the best of Android 2.3, the best of Honeycomb, the tablet operating system, and improves upon all that and delivers a nice, cool, tasty, ice creamy package in this thing right here.
So this is the first place you can get it, right?
That's right.
And the phone is a really big deal, but probably the bigger deal than the actual hardware is the operating system itself.
Is the operating system. So yeah, I spent the last 24 hours playing with it. It's got a ton of cool new features, a lot of interesting animations. One animation, when you're scrolling through your photos or maybe tiles of your friends, when you get to the very end and you can't go any further, the icons sort of like jitter a little bit, as if to say, hey, I can't be pulled anymore, like leave me alone, stop. So that's a cool animation. It's got this people feature where essentially all throughout the OS, you have these little thumbnails of your friends and they're big, high-res photos. You can click on it and sort of get to their most recent social media activity. Let's say you're in the email app. The email comes in, you see it came from Mike Calore. I click on your picture and...
It's not important if it came from me.
But if I wanted to reply, I could. And I wouldn't have to email back. I could click one of your little social media icons and either tweet you back or Google Plus you back or text you back.
So it's sort of a consolidation of all of your address book information and
Right.
photo spread across all the different places you would need it in the OS.
Right, and it's got pretty deep hooks into Google Plus too, which makes perfect sense given that this is an Android phone and Android is all Google. So there's that. There's tons of really cool photo editing options. There's a panorama mode, so you could essentially take your phone, and go like this, and get a panorama image. It's just tons. It's full of tons of really cool stuff. And for all those people who are worried about breaking that 2 gigabyte data limit, because your provider, your carrier will really, sting you badly if you exceed that limit. There's even new features that let you, that essentially give you an alert when you're about to cross that threshold. And you can even set it so that you can't even use that much data.
So there's also the facial unlock feature, right?
Right, there's facial unlock, and so,
You like hold the phone up and it's like James Bond kind of stuff.
Right. So in a nutshell, you when you first get the phone, you let it scan your face like that. And then when you hit your lock screen in the future, you hold it up again and it's supposed to unlock the phone.
So and it works?
It works about 80% of the time, but it also can be spoofed so that if you hold up a photo of your face, the phone will unlock.
Because that happens all the time.
It happens in my nightmare espionage scenarios, right? So, for the super paranoid, beware of face unlock.
So all of these crazy features, these are things that are going to appear on the actual vanilla version of Android.
Right.
So when this rolls out to other phones, probably early next year,
right,
we're going to see sort of skins done by like the HTCs, and the Motorola's of the world.
Inevitably, they're going to skin it, but I actually think the baseline experience is really good, and it'll be a shame if it's overskinned. But yeah, it's supposed to come on the Droid Bionic, the Motorola Droid Razr, the Motorola Zoom, which is a tablet, is supposed to get it, because remember, this OS is destined for both tablets and phones.
And all those devices you mentioned are Motorola devices.
Right, well, Samsung Galaxy 2S.
Oh, that'll get it too.
I always mix up the 2 and the S, but that's going to get it too. And HTC Resound is supposed to get it.
Oh.
But these are all just rumors and hearsay to this point. Right now, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus is the phone that has it.
So do we have pricing and availability on that?
We don't. We got the phone. It did not come with pricing and availability. I emailed our Google contact and they were very vague. So no, we don't have it. But
can I speculate?
Please do.
I think it's going to be $300 on contract.
So, it is the flagship phone. It's the Google phone that you're going to want.
Yeah, and like all the other top-end Google phones, or sorry, all the other top-end Android phones are 300 these days, like the Razr.
Right.
Yeah.
And, the industrial design is awesome. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but it's got this sort of curved face. It's big, huge screen. So yeah, I'm really liking this phone.
It's very pretty. Enough about the phone. Let's go talk to Christina about music. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Mike. Long time no see.
Totally. Let's talk about the updates in the music services world this week.
Yes, we had two big ones this week, iTunes Match and Google Music. So I'll start out with iTunes Match. $25 a year, you can store 25,000 songs in iCloud.
So this is the songs that I already have in my iTunes library?
Right, so these are ones that aren't purchased from iTunes.
Okay.
So how it works is it scans your library. If a song that you have downloaded, say you ripped it from a CD or you got it from some other non-iTunes source, if they have it in iTunes, then they'll use the iTunes copy in iCloud. If they don't, then it'll upload your version. So it just cuts down on the amount of time that it takes to upload all those songs.
Right. So why the hell would I want to do something like that?
If you have different devices and you want to get your music on all of those devices, your MacBook, iPad, iPhone, it stores your music in iCloud. And so you can download songs from iCloud to each device, and you don't have to download each song separately from your computer to each of those devices. It's stored in the cloud.
Which is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. So what about Google Music?
So Google Music, it's been around for a while, but it's been in beta. So now it's out of beta. It's a free service, and you can store up to 20,000 songs on their servers. And it's also adding Google Music songs to the Android market, so you can download songs from the Android market.
So it's a music store within Android.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also an app, an Android app, and so you can access your songs. And as opposed to on Apple, you have to download each of those songs to your device from iCloud. With Google Music, you're actually streaming it from the cloud.
So that's probably going to present problems with carriers.
Yes. And then right now, though, with T-Mobile devices, when you purchase songs, it'll go through your carrier bill. So it's just easy billing.
You do carrier billing for purchasing. That's pretty cool. So with the Kindle Fire and with Android devices and with Apple devices, we have 3 different competing cloud services for music, and all of them give you an opportunity to store your stuff in some corporate data center.
Yes.
So I think basically the data center that you choose is depending on which device you own, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Like if you're an iPhone person, you use iCloud. If you're an Android person, you use Google Music. And I'm sure it's not as simple as that, but that's basically what it's going to come down to for most people. Right?
Yeah, that'll be the easiest integration with your device.
All right. So if you're interested in cutting the cord, this is a good development, but I think a lot of people are maybe a little bit weirded out because they may happen to have a lot of songs in their libraries that maybe they didn't pay for. Is there any worry about that?
You'll want to go through and check out the metadata, and if it says, oh, this was, downloaded from, such and such user, you might want to clear that out. And then also, if you have more than 25,000 songs, you're out of luck, but you can make a separate iTunes library, just picking out the songs you do want to upload to iCloud.
I see. So like the sync this batch and don't sync this batch.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to go home and cover my tracks. But first, we're going to bring John back and take a look at the Kindle Fire tablet. All right, last we're going to take a look at the Kindle Fire. This is the tablet e-reader from Amazon. It was released this week. We ran a review on Monday, written by John Phillips. The reviews were mostly mixed. John, however, did not like it. He had a lot of points that he didn't like. So tell us what you didn't like about it.
Right. Okay, so it comes from Amazon, and it's being marketed as a book reader and a magazine reader primarily, also a great video playback device. So for video, it does kick ass. It delivers great video, and there's tons of places to download or stream video from, the Amazon store, Netflix, and Hulu Plus. But as a magazine reader, it pretty much sucks. And so you pull up a magazine and it's too small to really fit on the 7-inch screen.
And
so,
you get like comic books and graphic novels and regular books too, like kids' books.
And all that. And for books, it's fine. But for magazines, which sort of takes up a whole partition on their interface, the magazines are pretty much too small to read comfortably on the device. And also when you're pinching in and pinching out, it's really jaggy. It's sort of it's almost like stop motion video at the way it sort of expands and contracts.
Now this is interesting because it's relatively similar to a lot of the hardware that's out there in more expensive tablets, right?
And so from as far as like what should be driving it, the processor, it's got enough firepower to get the job done. But a lot of times you'll sort of be poking at the interface, trying to get it to do something like bring up the home screen, and it doesn't react.
So it's just bad code? Maybe it's the fact that it's running a platform environment, like a runtime environment.
Yeah, I don't know, but and the other thing too is that Amazon sort of celebrated its Silk browser technology as something that would supercharge browsing on this device. They basically sort of split the workload between the cloud and the local hardware. But when you go to a web page, it loads really, really slowly. And adding insult to injury on top of that, when you swipe, up, down, squeeze in, squeeze out, that's slow too. And so, I'm asking myself, this device, while it costs $200, and it really is a great bargain, if it can't deliver a good web experience, which is the number one thing people do on tablets, then is this $200 well spent? Right.
If there's one thing that early adopters know, it's that $200 is about what you pay for an aggravating user experience. That's the going rate anyway.
Darn it, I want it.
So we're eager to see the next one. We will say that. It's I think it's a promising platform, but this implementation is not the best.
Right, and updates could optimize the bad user experience that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I think Amazon hears you loud and clear.
Right.
We'll be back next week with some, or maybe not next week because it's a holiday, but we will have a show for you soon with more gadgets and more gadget news.